Broadcasting live from an Airstream somewhere in Tornado Alley, bringing you the people, places, and stories from the Panhandle to the Red River. This is your Only in Oklahoma show.
And welcome to the show. We're kind of starting a new thing now. Obviously, we've had to switch the format. We went from country music to rock and roll, kind of, in a sense. But no, it's more about communities in action. There is no doubt you are in lockdown. If you're hearing this, you're in lockdown somewhere. But what are communities doing to rally together to do something positive? What's the positive spin to this? And we had a chance to talk to one of the directors of Main Street for Okmulgee. Heather Sumner was on the show with us today, and we get to talk to her. I'm Brett.
And I am Harley.
So a lot of developments since the last time we even spoke on the telephone. I mean, within the last 6 hours, we went from, I don't know what you call it, to your average pandemic to a, what do you call it? I don't know,
full-on zombie apocalypse?
Full-on zombie apocalypse. I've been accosted by the police today. I have a...
We have to tell the story. Let's tell the story.
You want to tell the story?
You tell the story.
Okay,
it's not my story to tell.
You know I love to tell stories. So I get to the studio, and I'm waiting outside for you to get back because you were doing a good thing, and we'll get to that. We'll get to the positive of this whole interaction. And I'm sitting in the car doing what most people are doing, playing on Facebook, because there's nothing else I can do. I don't think you're even allowed to, like, pick up sticks or anything. So I'm sitting there doing nothing, and a car pulls up next to me, and I think it's your car because it's the same color. I roll down the window, they roll down the window, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm sitting here looking at Facebook." Well, somebody said that you're taking pictures of my grandma's house. I'm like, "Not taking pictures of your grandma's house. Sitting here waiting on these people right here to get home." "Well, okay, that's fine. My grandma was scared." So I thought that was the end of it. So I thought to myself, I'm not gonna be the guy that still continues to sit here, because I think if you sit and linger, it becomes suspicious. Still, you just because you say I'm not doing a bad thing doesn't automatically erase the thought that you're doing something bad. So I go, and what's funny is Alyssa's waiting for me at the door going, "Weirdo." And I like, yeah. So I went inside. Everything's fine. You roll in.
Right.
We go outside. I see a cop car kind of circling around. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it's martial law. Something. They've enacted something within the last time within the last COVID-19 update.
Right.
So we get outside, and there's a police, an ununiformed, I don't know, a gray shirt police guy.
Gray shirt police guy.
Well, I'm not. Was there anything other than a sidearm that would indicate to you that he was?
He actually didn't have a badge.
No, there was no badge.
You whipped out your ID as soon as he said it, but I realized that guy didn't have a badge on.
Look, how many videos? I know I've watched a ton of videos where people don't comply. We're not in a state of the union where we can not comply. I just kind of feel like at this point, here's my ID. I saw what they did to Joe Exotic. I don't want to be a statistic. So I comply. I give him my ID. The neighbors that called the cops, apparently there was some suspicious and nefarious activity going on. Somebody in a backyard taking pictures and things like that. And I was like, "Not me." And even Connor chimed in and almost got me thrown in the gulag.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, so I'm feeling, I don't know, I'm feeling a little shaky, honestly. That was like 3 hours ago, and I'm still afraid to walk outside. So, yes.
I don't understand why, I don't understand why anybody would take a picture of a random person's house. No. And B, I don't understand why it would be a big deal if somebody was taking a picture of the outside of some random person's house from the street.
I mean, technically, perhaps there's an attorney that can fill us in. The street is public. Right?
I think so.
But where this description of me being in a backyard and all, I'm like, no. So that's how our day started. Things are just, you can kind of feel it. I think Phil Collins said it best. I can feel it in the air tonight, today, tomorrow, and probably feel it in the air for the next couple months.
Well, I'm still hopeful that our new COVID-19 cure gets running and gets some attention from the media.
Yes.
I think the chloroquine thing is pretty much all you really need, that and some zinc to cure most every case.
But not to be the whistleblowers. You got to have the right person come out and say, and wave a flag and go, hey, simmer down, folks. I mean, you know what I mean?
Political divisiveness right now, I don't know who that person is. I don't know who everybody trusts.
How does a virus have people, it's so divisive. If you ask a Democrat, the Republicans created this in a petri dish. If you ask the Republicans, the Democrats are crazy. I mean, it's just
everybody's got a conspiracy theory. Everybody's got somebody to hate on about it, and I just don't get it.
Right. It's so vitriolic. I've just never in my lifetime thought I would ever experience anything like this. You look back and go, okay, Zika wasn't like this. Swine flu wasn't like this. Y2K
Ebola wasn't like this.
Y2K, maybe you had the fringe people.
But come on, seriously, Ebola was a thing last year, the year before.
Right.
Anything where you've got movies where people are bleeding out of their eyes, that's the thing you should be scared of, I think.
Right. And I think that's what people are expecting expecting to happen here. And I don't think that's generally the case. But I will say that the people that, think about those scary movies where the old man goes, you better not go down that road. Something bad's going to happen. We're kind of we laugh and scoff at those people that it kind of, I hate to say it, kind of called it. You know what I mean? There are a few of those that people would say a lunatic fringe community that kind of are sitting back going,
I've been telling you for years.
Right. Look at those dadgum extroverts. So yeah, I know it's becoming more now. It's more of a social experiment,
Well, I'm hopeful that everything gets cleared up relatively soon.
Right.
And we're back to business as usual.
And as for now, I think, really, and not to cast any shade or doubt on other podcasters and shows that aren't kind of trying to do the same thing, but I feel like we're best served if we have this platform, no matter how big, small, or how wide of a net we can cast. If we can just give a little bit of a glimpse, a little bit of
hope,
then
positive energies, some positive vibes, positive stories.
Well, and the reality of the situation, you've talked to quite a few people about what we're looking to do, and so far the response has been overwhelming.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, shocking at how many people are just surprised and thankful that we're willing to do it. And in fact, I talked to Heather Sumner, who's on the show today, post interview, and she's like, what you guys are doing is amazing. It's willing to help anything that we can do. And I think whether you're willing to get out and do anything or not, we just want you to know that there's a light here.
Absolutely.
It's always, like, I hate to say, but it's always darkest before the dawn. And I feel like we're just on the other side of this thing. If we can just find a way to kind of put down our differences here and just comply, folks.
I'm not even going that far. I'm just saying there's good news all over the place. You just got to look for it, and I think we did a good job finding some good news from Heather at the Okmulgee Main Street organization, and we've got that interview coming up right now.
And welcome to the show, Heather. Thank you for coming back.
And thank you guys for having me again.
So, Communities in Action, a lot of things have changed. The overall, consensus is going to hell in a handbag, but I don't think that's the case in our communities throughout Oklahoma. We've been kind of reaching out, trying to figure out what's going on out there. What are we doing to help the situation now that we're being told that we can't really go anywhere? What's the word up there?
So we obviously are still preaching, shop small, support local, do what we can, even during times like these that are kind of just uncharted territory for all of us. So a couple of things that we've done through my organization, Okmulgee Main Street, was we first created a page on our website that is strictly just for COVID-19 business updates. So for all of our Main Street partners, people can go on and just kind of check out how they're operating at this time. So most all of our banks are completely closed lobby-wise, just using the drive-through only. Most of our restaurants have all shut down. their dining room areas, but the majority of them are still offering like curbside takeout. So we put their menus up there just to make it kind of a one-stop shop, easy place for people to kind of gather information for our businesses. Something that we've done.
So I know that you were kind of promoting it's a Takeout Tuesday. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so today is the Great American Takeout Day across the nation. So we're just encouraging people to, instead of eating at home today, just go support our local restaurants that are doing takeout. Some of them are doing delivery, so you can take up on that option as well. But anybody that's still operating, just please go and support those businesses. So right now, actually, I'm taking orders from all of my 4 kids in there, trying to determine, and so far we have 3 different restaurants that we're going to be stopping at to get their favorites. Making the rounds in downtown Okmulgee, picking up food for the night. So that's just one way that we can help support our businesses right now.
So, obviously, I live in a larger community. Harley lives kind of in a smaller town. So we're kind of in between big and little. How have you seen this affect Okmulgee, at least your neck of the woods, positively, negatively? What's the overall vibe? What's the buzz?
So right now, I think people are just still trying to figure out what exactly is going on, so hour by hour, it seems to change. Yesterday, we had some businesses that were still fully operating. And then as of first thing today, some of them that just closed up their doors and turned their lights off for however long. We're, of course, hoping and praying that they'll be able to open back up once this surpasses, but we just don't really know right now. So there's a lot of community support of people just coming out of the woodworks wanting to help volunteer. Like our school buses started their bus routes. So we have our normal bus drivers that are driving, and then we have a volunteer or 2 on our large buses completely spaced out, of course. And they are delivering food via the bus routes to all of our children that are, of course, like 1 to 18 years old. They can come out and get a sack lunch that will give them at least something. So they'll be doing that every single day, Monday through Friday, for the unforeseeable future. So that's something that's good that came out of this. And then, of course, just people, I think, being a little bit more mindful about supporting our small businesses. Had a ton of people. We posted a post about, hey, how can you help right now? So like some of those things were, buy gift cards that you can purchase now that you can use later. And so we've seen a spike of people just picking up the phone or getting online and ordering just a gift card. So that way the business still has some money coming in, and then those people can use those at a later time. Our delivery service for our flowers, of course, they're still taking deliveries to people. So we've had a ton of people that have just picked up the phone and said, hey, I want to buy some flowers for, so-and-so. They're having a hard time right now. So aren't we all who can use some flowers? So our flower shop has seen a boost in sales, which has been nice. Our restaurants are doing some fun curbside services with different things. We've posted a few on our Facebook page, Okmulgee Main Street page. We're just trying. We're trying to stay positive.
That's awesome. It's what needs to happen right now. One of the things that I've noticed, or one of the things that kind of stands out to me, is this whole situation impacts the elderly more than any other group, both in the severity of the COVID-19 virus as well as just them having access to the things that they need to make it throughout the day. What kind of activities or actions to focus on that demographic?
So we kind of are just encouraging people to check on their elderly neighbors for their shut-ins. We actually have Miss Mary's Market, which I've actually talked about before on your show. So Miss Mary's Market is actually doing home deliveries to shut-ins. And so after 3 o'clock, whenever they shut the market down, then they are making those deliveries at that time. And just a couple of stories that she's shared with me of a couple of people, like one lady that was blind, and she actually uses our CATS bus service to usually go to the store and things like that. And at this time, of course, she's one of those that needs to be at home. So the market is then just bringing her, the food that she needs and things like that. So we've kind of stepped up on that game. We also have other people just within the general community that is doing the same exact thing, just kind of checking on their neighbors, making sure, what they need and making sure that they have that.
So, Heather, you're the Main Street go-to? What is Main Street doing if there's really no Main Street to get to? What are your plans for the quarantine?
My plans are basically, I have been listening to, countless webinars, honestly, throughout the day, just trying to gather information, collect resources for my small businesses for right now, and then also when this is over. So I know like the SBA has approved Oklahoma for small business loans for all of our small businesses in the 77 counties. So there was a webinar over that today, just trying to learn that application process. So just tons of different resources, trying to stay, current with up-to-date information, because a lot of my businesses are contacting me saying, hey, what's the latest? Like, are we allowed to be open? What can we do? What are the restrictions? Are there any? So kind of just being that connector and that resource hub, kind of my role in all of this at this point.
Well, you know what? I was going to ask, are there any charities in particular that are looking for volunteers? But I think everyone's kind of needing a helping hand right now, so there's not really any way to direct that. But if people are interested in getting involved, they've got an extra hand or an extra dollar or an extra can of food, what's the best place, and what's the Okmulgee's go-to right now?
So really, honestly, if they want to contact me at the Main Street office, I can kind of match them up to whatever they're passionate about. So, if it's kids, they're going to be serving meals every day, Monday through Friday. So the amount of volunteers that's going to take for the next several weeks, could be several months. In order to keep those other volunteers from burning out, we're going to need a constant rotation. So whether it's that or, like I said, helping with the market. Miss Marie's Market is also looking for volunteers that will help drive stuff to some of our shut-ins and get that taken care of. Also, even just having volunteers that just even call, maybe in the nursing homes, and just talk to some of the residents and just say, hey, I'm just calling to check on you. I actually have one of my board members that is in a rehab facility, and so I've been doing that with him the last few days. Just making sure that he knows that we haven't forgot about him out here, because they can't have any visitors or whatsoever in or out. So anyways, just call the Main Street office, and I can definitely help connect wherever the volunteers are needed at that time.
Well, that's great, because there are a lot of local charities around that are having issues with getting volunteers just because of the social distancing, the fears of the virus, and now having this statewide lockdown. It's going to be hard to get people out there to lend a hand, or even a voice is worth. I know this because I try to do this as often as I can. A voice sometimes is all you need. I don't know. We have to rally. It's time to it's rally time. This is where you really get to see what you're. I hate to say it, it's so corny and cliche, but this is where you really get to see what you're made of. It is. And it's not just about taking care of me. It's about taking care of our neighbors and what can we do for each other, because that's how we're going to get through this. It's just making sure that we're taking care of each other.
Well, we've been seeing a lot of really encouraging stories, and it makes us proud of our home. So
yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I agree.
All right. Well, Heather, we appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy building pillow forts and all this other stuff right now, but we do appreciate you taking the time to come on again with us.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for having me.
It's always great having Heather on the show. I love Okmulgee, even though I can't say the word. I do. I love it. It's a cool town.
Why can you not say that?
Okmulgee.
Okmulgee.
Okmulgee. Okmulgee? I don't know. I hate it. I love it, but I hate it. Like, I need the insider name for Okmulgee. Like,
you say it perfectly when you're not thinking about it.
I need the insider name. It's like the OKM, whatever we're calling it. The hip, cool way to say it without...
Hit it again. Ready?
No, that was good. We're keeping that in.
Okay, good.
In all honesty, in all seriousness, I love that they're coming together as a community. I'm seeing that more and more throughout Oklahoma, and I really just need people to look out the window, because there's somebody doing it right by you.
Well, it really, all you can do is look out the window right now. So yes. Well, and you kind of had your some firsthand experience with kind of getting together with your own community and filling in some gaps, right?
Well, it was something that I did find out over the weekend that has kind of put a...
Oh, you were not happy.
I was not happy. I found out that the local food pantry was having some difficulties getting volunteers. I get it. Scary times. but we still need people to step up. The people that have food insecurities
need to know that there's something for them.
It still has to be done. It has to be provided. So
right.
Yes, I agree. Don't be high-fiving people and, I don't know, like.
I mean, ass out hugs at maximum right now.
But when it comes to supporting the less fortunate in our communities, I think you got to do it.
Well, and I think one thing, it doesn't take long if you make a trip to the grocery store yourself, or you see pictures on the internet, or you hear about it. There's a lot of greed right now. It's every man for himself, and I get that to varying degrees, but it's almost extreme.
I was having a conversation with one of the people that was there volunteering as well today, and they were saying one of the things that they normally do is once a week they go and buy all of the items on the list for the food pantry,
right.
And they'll just buy it in quantities of 6. It's something they can do. They feel like it's a good opportunity for them to pitch in. But literally one of the items on that list is a loaf of bread. You can't buy 6 loaves of bread. You get beat to death in the parking lot.
You will get beat to death. And I think part of the I don't blame the big box grocery retailers or even some of the smaller chain grocery retailers for not setting a limit early on, because I really don't think there was an expectation. I think at first it was paranoia shopping just a little bit.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, I think social media.
It was reinforced.
It was reinforced. And then by that point, once you've opened the floodgates, it's really hard to go, stop midstream and go, limit 4? No, it's not. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Right.
They had to run out of everything and then go back and go limit 4 per customer.
Right.
But now people are literally almost camping out like it's Black Friday
every day
when they know the toilet paper truck schedule. Now there are some places where a lot of those hard to get items early are kind of trickling in more now. But those things that are still hard to find are your toiletries,
I agree. I see where you're going, but at the same time, it's not something that we need to be focused on.
I know that.
I think everybody knows what their shortage is on, and everybody knows the reasons why there are shortages.
Right.
In all honesty, we need to be focusing on the positive.
On the positive, there are a lot of things in your community that you can be helping with. Hell, if you know your neighbor's down a roll. You know what I mean? I know it sounds corny, but check on your neighbors. What are the people around you experiencing? If you've got an overabundance...
Hold on.
What?
I agree with checking on your neighbors.
Yeah.
As long as you don't do it in a creepy car where it looks like you're taking pictures of your neighbors.
Exactly.
From the street where police have to be involved.
I know. Okay, I'll admit, I was taking pictures, but it was because I was trying to figure out how they got their edge on their curb so straight with just a weed eater. Come on. Anyway, but if you have an opportunity to do something, if you see something, say something. If you see a need, fill a need.
Okay.
They're everywhere. If you're willing to look and get out of your own little bubble, which I know that, we are learning geometry and math times this, length times width equals quarantine.
You need to be 4.7 meters away from me. Yeah, I get it.
Right. But there are things you can do with gloves on.
I agree. There are plenty of things that can be done. There's plenty of help to be given. And I think we can set the standard for the country.
I really do. Honestly, we've been listed as one of the most friendliest places on the planet Earth. So why not? Starts with you folks.
Absolutely.
Well, anyway, this has been the Only an OK Show. For more information, you can always find us on Facebook. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're here. We're waiting. I'm Brett.
And I'm Harley. And we're out of here.
Peace.
Are happening in Okmulgee sorry, my mouth is not working. I cannot say the word Okmulgee to save my life.
Gosh. It's a Fever 6-pack on 101.1 WFLU Radio. Hey, caller 19 wins tickets to
Flumageddon.
If you listen to podcasts and you're in Oklahoma, you might be a redneck.
What's the name of this? Okmulgee.
Okmulgee.
What else are we going to talk about?
Bad Boys.
Yeah.
The
Bad
movie?
boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they pull up outside your front door
Listen.
because Brett's at your house?
Listen, I know you don't like documentaries, true crime. Find it in your heart. Find some way to watch the Tiger King documentary about Joe Exotic. Please do it.
Did you realize that he is literally an anchor around the neck of this state right now?
I get it. Do yourself a favor. Watch it. I'm serious. No, there isn't. I'm sorry. It's a much ado about nothing. People are making a big, like all of a sudden that's what we went from being the state that didn't have running water and teepees to now we're all Joe Exotic.
Right.
I don't think so.
Let's go.
But watch it. Will you?
Dude, I'm almost to the end of Netflix. I'm eventually going to have
You're
to
going to have
watch
to watch it.
Let's go.
I take a day off. You do a perfect interview. Now you know how the show works.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to start the show as per the usual.
By the way, here's my takeaway from your interview the other day. Flawlessly executed, by the way. But when I come back, you're like, Okmulgee Bogey?
Dude, I can't
What
say,
the frick?
I cannot say Okmulgee.
Okmulgee? You can't. Okmulgee?
Okmulgee.
It's not
Okmulgee.
Oak Island. It's Okmulgee.
Yeah. Okmulgee. Okmulgee. Dude, I think that's why Oklahoma town names are all screwed up and don't match the spelling. I think
Because
it's
everybody
people,
says it different.
like, is it Miami? No,
It's Miami.
it's Miami.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's like,
we've learned firsthand.
but I honestly,
Some of these words, these names defy all syllables. Syllabic. I don't know.
yeah, I think there are towns in Oklahoma that are actually meant to be something else. I think like Poto, Oklahoma was probably supposed to be Potawatomi, and they're like, Poto. It's Poto.
A guy tried to tell me, real quick story here, that Visay, Oklahoma, he said that there's a Visay, there's a Visay, but it's called Vichy. He's like, it's called Vichy, but people call it Visay. He's like, there's a Vichy, Oklahoma. No, there's not, dude. And he was straight-faced trying to tell me this. I'm like, man, come on.
I don't know, though. I mean, we get it. There are a whole bunch of them. Durant. I'm sorry,
Durant.
but Durant just sounds like we're messing with people. Like, let's mess with all the outsiders.
You
Tell them
always-
it's Durant.
I always have a story. One more. So Vegas. I'm in Vegas trying to get marriage photographs a decade ago.
Vegas.
It's veggies now. There's like it's Las Veggies. There's nobody doing anything in Vegas right now. So the photographer, we're talking. He's like, "Oh, you're from Oklahoma." This is a small world. I'm sorry. Vegas is a melting pot. People from all over. I get it. Gets to talking to the photographer. He's like, "Oh, you're from Oklahoma?" Yeah. He goes, "Yeah, I'm from Durant." I kind of feel like if a guy in Vegas that works and lives in Vegas is from Durant, then it's called Durant.
I know, but I really think that they're, what do they call that when you're screwing with somebody? Like you're,
I don't know. If you ask, depends on who you ask. It's the president.
I think they're messing with everybody else. Though I think they're probably, yeah. Let's, it's Durant. But when the people come from out of town, they're like, "Hey, y'all, welcome to Durant."
Welcome to Durant. You're right. You're like just putting like extra, "Howdy, y'all." Like we don't say that.
The mayor's like, "Come on, man, we don't do that."
We really have to do this every time the tourists come through town. "Howdy, partners." Come back and see us now. I'm like, we haven't talked like that in 40 years, 50 years.
It's always a pleasure having a head. It's always a little bit. It is always a pleasure. Oh my God, you have to stop laughing or I can't continue. It's always great. I can hate your guts. I swear to God. There's no wonder we can only put out 2 shows a week. We sit in this room for 7 hours laughing about something stupid. You sit in here for 14 hours editing a 7-minute interview, talking to yourself the whole time.
All right, go ahead.
It's always fun. Okay, I quit. I'm done. I didn't.
You're gonna say it. You're gonna say it.
I was gonna say great.
Bullshit. You're like, it's always a great experience.
No, I was gonna say it's always great having Heather on the show. It's always great having Heather on the show. And then...
Oh. Okay. 3. Oh. Okay, go for it. Go ahead. No, seriously. Don't look at me like that, dude.
Dude, I can't help it. You're sitting there like covered in red because you're holding your breath. Like, it's not gonna help.